Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting of the Newington Board of Education to order for Wednesday, February 25th, 2026. The time is, I didn't do that. The time is 7:03 now p.m. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of America, republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Deb, would you please call the roll?
Mary B.
Here.
John Halloran.
Here.
Here.
Keith Paradic. Here.
Here.
Sharma.
Here.
Ryan Skibo.
We're here.
I'm here. You're fading in and out.
Can you hear us online?
I can hear you.
Oh, you're really quiet. Can you turn it up?
Sorry,
Just
you
turn
guys
it
are
up a little
quiet
bit.
to us in the room, so we're just
Oh,
gonna
you
turn your
need that
volume
thing.
up.
Okay.
Jessica Weaver.
Here.
I have everybody here.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to open it up for public participation on any matter related to board responsibilities. If you're in the room, you can come to the table, or online, use your hand to be recognized.
There was, yes.
I'm trying to get in the meeting. Ms. Rodriguez.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to just make this really quick. I have a senior who is graduating this year who historically ends up at Nationals in Oregon for the outdoor track season. And I understand that we are looking at a potential date of June 18th. That final weekend is the weekend that Nike Nationals happens typically every year, and it's a Thursday, Friday event. I'm asking if there is any possibility with all the snow days and potential snow days in the future that we move the graduation date for the ceremony to the 22nd, as it would be the last day of school currently. But pending any additional snow events, we may have more that pushes us along even farther. I also ask that when considering the graduation date in the future to consider those national events. We would want our seniors to participate not only in the opportunities that they've worked so hard for multiple years in a sport, to be able to participate at nationals if they qualify, as well as participating in their graduation ceremony, which they have academically worked really hard towards. I appreciate your consideration in that thought. I forgot to add 71 Northwood Road, Jennifer Rodriguez, at the beginning there. Thank you again, and have a good evening.
Thank you. Mr. Phelps.
Hi, good evening. My name is Mike Phelps. I live at 108 Tremont Street. I just wanted to say I also participated on Monday. I would like to say thank you for posting the budget book online. I saw that was posted the other day with everything going on. I appreciate getting that made available so quickly. I would also like to follow up and look for a potential future discussion by the board, if this hasn't been brought up before, around participation rates in student sports, particularly among female athletes. I know there's been some studies showing that nearly 1 in 2 girls quit by the age of 14. I think predominantly due to body criticism issues. I was hoping that could be discussed, as well as a review of equity between some of the sports programs. This may be a good opportunity for the student board representatives to provide some insight. And that was it. And thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm not seeing any other hands. So we can move on to our consent agenda. Mr. Holleran.
I would like to move that the Board of Education approve the consent agenda as presented for the minutes of January 28th, regular meeting, February 4th, budget session, February 9th, executive session, February 9th, budget session, February 10th, budget session, February 18th, budget session of 2026.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Standing committee, we have our A student rep here. Take it away, Abby.
Hi, everyone. So Danny wasn't able to be here today because the musical season is coming up and he had a rehearsal that he had to go to. But he did want to say, he wanted me to pass the message. Thank you for the snow days on Monday and Tuesday. So just to get started, so what's happening inside the high school over the last month or so? So Jazz Band went to Yukon stores for their jazz festival. And students performed for Yukon Jazz faculty and staff, and they were able to receive a clinic from Professor Earl McDonald. And they listened to high school jazz bands from Connecticut and from Rhode Island, which was a really great experience for all the students, and everyone seemed to have a really good time. Spring registration for ECE classes also opened up. So for all the classes in this new semester, if they are eligible for college credit, students were signing up for those and just kind of getting settled in their new classes. And then 2026, 2027 course selection opened up. So counselors about a month ago started going into freshman, sophomore, and junior homerooms and classes just to kind of talk to them about getting prepared for what classes they might want to take, the different types of classes, and all of the questions that they may have. And then seniors, we've been working on completing our local scholarship booklet, and we're getting those ready to submit by March 13th. And National School Counseling Week was a few weeks ago, and we celebrated with a Spirit Week. All the themes are right there. And we had Spirit Days just to celebrate our counselors and all that they do for our school and just to recognize them. And then the senior and junior class have been holding fundraisers. So yesterday, the senior class had a fundraiser at Wooden Tap, and then today the junior class had a fundraiser at Chipotle. So as for what our clubs have been doing, so for DECA, me, Audrey DeFrancesco, Katie Dugas, and Mrs. Miller worked on organizing a gold certification for our school store. And basically what that entailed was about a 50-page write-up about what our school store does and all of the different technicalities with it. And we were able to receive gold certification. So that means we get extra spots for ICDC, and it's a really big achievement. It's not something that people typically get on the first try. And we just wanted to share that there are 42 standards that we had to achieve, and we had to get at least meeting on them. And on 41, we received exceeding. So that was just something really big that Ms. Miller wanted me to share, and it was a lot of hard work, and we had a lot of students working on it, so it was really exciting to get the certification. And then we have our state competition tomorrow, and any students placing top 4 in their categories are going to move on to ICDC, which is in Atlanta, Georgia this year. And then FBLA had their winter dance last week. So they did a lot of work selling tickets and worked with local businesses to be able to hand out gift cards at the event. And it was really fun. We had a lot of students show up, their pictures right here. And it was a lot of work from the FBLA students. They had to prepare food, a DJ, and it was a great turnout. And then Stuco for Valentine's Day, we just got little lollipops and wrote kind messages for our teachers and handed those out just as a small act of kindness. And then the class of 2028 sold candy grams to celebrate Valentine's Day as well. So for our middle school update for this month, we were able to reach out to our middle schoolers, and both schools have been really busy. So from John Wallace, we have the snowball dance, which is supposed to be happening Friday. And then they've had a lot of clubs, a lot of sports. It seems really exciting. So I just linked the catalog that has all that information there. And then Martin Kellogg, starting tomorrow, going through Saturday, has their production of Legally Blonde, which I know they've been promoting a lot and they're really excited for. So for our sports, we've had a lot going on because winter sports is kind of starting to wrap up. We're starting to move into the spring season. So for basketball, boys basketball a few weeks ago had a really big game against Platt. They ended up losing, but it was really exciting, and we had our biggest student section participation that we've probably seen at the basketball games all year. So that was really fun and really exciting. And boys hockey had their senior night and had a game against Rocky Hill. Wrestling and swimming have tournaments coming up, so that's really exciting. There are a lot of tournaments going on as the season starts to close with basketball, wrestling, swimming, all those. And then indoor track and field had a banquet with about 89 students, and they wanted to note that their membership and their participation increased by 35% this year. So that was really exciting for them. Then just for our special shouts for this month, Tarun Shathia, who's a sophomore, got Superintendent's Outstanding Student of the Month. Josiah Sims, who's a senior, signed to play D2 football at Franklin Pierce University. So that was really exciting for him. And then we have a bunch of students listed here who were recognized at Northern Regionals for either choir or for their instrumental talents. So we just wanted to shout them out and just share their picture. And then for just some stuff happening outside the high school that our teachers have been doing. So a bunch of our staff members who are pictured here, they attended a Taste of Ramadan in South Windsor after being invited by our student Aman Habib and his brother, who's also an NHS alum. Staff got to learn the meaning of Ramadan and heard from Muslim speakers who shared their perspective on various topics of like sports, high school, academia, life in general. And they got to participate in breaking fast in just a Q&A session. So staff seemed to really enjoyed it. They all had a really good time and got to kind of share that experience with one of our students. So that's all I have for you guys today. But if you have any questions or comments, I'd be happy to answer anything.
Ms. Weaver.
Well, first I want to give a huge congratulations to you. I remember Mrs. Miller talking to us about this. I think we were at Miss Tigno's event. She was like, listen, I'm telling these girls, this is a lot of work. It's not playing around. This is like an insane book. This is a lot to do. So kudos one for just having the ambition to do it. And then of course, excelling in all the ways. So not shocked, but I think the community should know just how big of a deal it is. Would recommend a Newington Life feature, I think probably coming soon. So one, just really kudos to you, Abby, on all of that. Thank you as always for keeping up with sports, culture. I feel like there's always a good taste of everything that we need to know about. Very excited for the upcoming shows and very excited to hear more about those, and also seeing all of the different culture events that are happening. We always do, I think, a great job of highlighting those, and just want to thank you for continuing to embody that. So as always, we missed you. Thank you for giving us the good stuff. I know we won't see you fully on stage, but we'll see you in stage crew at your last production at NHS. Tired. But just thank you and congratulations. Truly, I think it's a great honor, and congratulations to all the students. Good luck to those in DECA. Very excited to hear next time you update us how those go. Yep. Thanks.
You.
Mr. Holleran.
I was just saying at the last meeting how I miss my student reps. We've had a lot of meetings, and they're all budget meetings. And you're connected with the school in a very different way, a very financial way. When we have our student reps here, we're connected in a very real way. And it reminds us all about who we're working so hard for. That gets us out of the head of going through line item by line item and figuring out how much we're going to pay for gas this year. So I think that I always appreciate it when you're here. Wonderful job with DECA, by the way. I agree with Josh. I was in DECA myself, and I know that is quite an accomplishment. 41 out of 42 requirements is huge.
Exceeding,
right? Exceeding. That's not just meeting, that's exceeding. So wonderful job there. Always thank you for the updates. Snowball dances this Friday at John Wallace. My daughter bought her dress. She's ready to go. I had to convince her it wasn't lame. But she'll enjoy it. And good to hear all the updates on all the sports. We've got a lot of achievements, and we're coming into the back half of the year. So your mind's already on next steps, and I'm sure most of the other seniors are too. And best of luck, and don't stress yourself out. Always appreciate it, Abby. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Sharma.
Oh, so, it's refreshing to hear like an update. There's so much exciting stuff that was going on in the high school. So, so thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Ms. Beatrice.
As everybody else has said, it's always a pleasure when you're here, when Danny's here too. But what you're showing us is a really, really important reminder of why we do what we're doing. And the conversations that we have are much more dry. You guys have a lot more fun than we do. But the decisions that get made and the conversations that we have directly impact the ability for you guys to have the enriching experiences at the school. I can speak for myself, but probably for everybody here, we're really, really proud of you, and we're really proud to do what we can to continue to support you and the other students and staff in the schools to make the experience in our schools bigger and better. And, you know, I'm giving you much more than just the academic piece of it. So thank you. Keep doing what you're doing.
When I went to guest judge at that mock
The mock
competition, Miss Miller showed me your project, and it was very, very impressive. And I like flipped through the pages, very detailed. It was just like, it was intense. Like it was pages upon pages. Like I don't even know how many pages it was. Like
50.
50.
just
Yeah,
about 50.
it was a lot. It was a lot, and it was very detailed. And there was pictures, and there was graphs, and just a lot of time and effort went to it. So Miss Miller, I see you're on, and just good job with DECA and everything that you do for them too. And then just not to give you more homework, but what our public comment said about women's sports or girls' sports is, I don't know if you've heard anything, or if there's, you know, you can go back and ask some of your other Stuco people or anyone, just, you know, give us maybe next time, give us anything you find out about girls in sports, and if people keep participating or don't, or what, like you said, are dropping out. But yeah, it was very interesting or it would be very interesting to see a student perspective on girls sports in the high school.
We'll definitely get some feedback on that. We'll bring it back.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Thank you so much for coming. We did miss you. Okay, our next update is policy.
Great. I can I'll just quickly, but this will come back up under our new business. We had a wonderful, efficient meeting. Thank you, Mr. Dias. Welcome to the policy crew. On February 11th, feels like 10 years ago already. But we just discussed the two upcoming policies that need to be passed before March 1st. So a lot of things before March 1st tonight that deal with the child nutrition program and the policies that need to be passed based on the assessment changes on our student wellness policy. And so those will both be 6142, 101, and 3195. We'll get to the 6,000s, I promise. And those were just kind of this. And then we also will note that our next policy meeting will be March 2nd. We'll start looking at the 4,000s, I think. Nope, 5,000s, I think. I'll let you know. But great overview of stuff. A lot of it we had talked about as a full board, but we just wanted to make sure it went through policy, made sure there was any changes. We noted some of the reasons why we used some of the specific numbers for all of those things, for the physical education time and those kinds of things, just to be in compliance with the assessments. So Kristen Freeman joined us as well. So anything that was discussed at the curriculum, not to, and she's not here, but we discussed with policy too. So it's been through kind of both the curriculum and policy committees, and would recommend full adoption. So, yep.
Thank you. Any questions for our policy committee? And then for curriculum committee update, I actually wasn't at the last meeting because I couldn't get out of class that early, but the committee reviewed policy 9132, just to hand over to the policy committees for their further review. Anything to add, Mr. Holleran?
No, that's pretty much it. We went over it, did some homework. Kristen Freeman did some great drafts for us, which we all agreed with, and I think shaped it in the way that is functional, and sent it over to the policy committee. It was a pretty, I don't say boring curriculum committee, but it was not as fun as delving into new material. So, yeah, it was just about the policy.
Not as fun as it usually is.
That's right. I love Paul. I've been trying to get on the committee for 2 years.
Any questions for curriculum committee? Okay. Superintendent of Schools report. Dr. Brummett.
Thank you very much. I'd like to introduce, though I don't think they need any introduction. We have here appearing for the first time at a board meeting, acting John Wallace Middle School Principal, Mr. Marco Trillo, joined by outgoing principal, has his toes in both waters. As you know, everyone has opportunity to present. Every school presents to the board once a year, and they're presenting on things that are part of their school improvement plan, as well as, in the case of John Wallace, a little update about the building project, which continues to go along very well, in large part due to the leadership of both Dan and Marco organizing all the different variations there. So without further ado, I will kick this over to them.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Brummett. So we took a bit of a different approach. We're going to start off with the little update on the renovation project. And then in terms of culture and climate, we kind of want to talk about how we do business at John Wallace as part of our culture and how we operate and collaborate with our staff. And then from a climate perspective, Mr. Trillo is going to help talk about our behavior expectations that we developed school-wide. And you'll see how student voice and students are a part of that in our school as well. So if you go to the next slide. So I just want to give a renovation update to the board. First off, I want to thank the board. I want to thank Dr. Brummett and our families. Prior to us leaving for the winter break in January, we had a series of early release days. And, you know, our families pitched in by helping us out, the board approving those as well. It made a huge difference in us transitioning. So we were able on January 5th, it was like the first day of school all over again at John Wallace. Prior to leaving on December 23rd, Mr. Holling will probably attest to this, that every student packed their locker, cleaned their locker out, and left home for the winter break, knowing they'd come back to a completely new classroom. So that included our sixth graders who weren't moving into a new space, but were moving into another location in the building. So it was a true team effort in the Wallace community. We had a successful opening on January 5th. It really was like the first day of school. Each student arrived to school, except for our fifth graders. They got to stay in their same area. So they just went back to homeroom. Everyone else, though, the teachers met them all in our auditorium, gym, and our cafeteria, walked them through, you know, their new spaces, escorted them to class, handed out new lockers, new combinations. So it was really a fresh way to kick off the new year. We had over 30 staff and 450 students move into new spaces on January 5th. And that all happened the week prior to the holiday break, winter break, where we know families are busy, staff are busy, so we all pulled together. So thank you all for your support with that. The wings are fully functional. They look amazing. Did an excellent job. Our partners, Fire Architecture, Newfield Construction, did great work. The next few photos, my plan was to go in Monday and take a few other photos, but Snow had other plans for us. They weren't able to get them. These are some shots. If you haven't been in John Wallace yet, I invite you when you have some spare time. We'd love to have you come through and see the new wing. But you can see our school colors are kind of tied into the design. We did a great job with the interior designer. So the lockers that we have are actually designed to accommodate middle school at our building. Students don't have backpacks throughout the day, and the lockers we had before were very difficult to fit anything in there. So we have nice wide lockers now. The students have a lot to say about that. They love the new lockers. You can see even the classroom configurations, the desks intentionally, what we picked with furniture are for collaboration. We deliberately have 5 seats there, so there can't be a tiebreaker if there is a debate or some sort of discussion going on. The chairs aren't there in this photo yet, but we have chairs that have some things embedded in them, like their wiggle seats are embedded, things like that for middle school students, so that if they're active, they can do that as well. What we did after staff moved in, we had a little fun. We literally rolled out the red carpet for our staff. Mr. Trillo had some videos. He's going to share access here to give you a little 40-second clip or so. But it really just wanted to share how morale has really lifted at the school with this renovation project. With Wing 6, where we are now, Wing 7 and Wing 8 are complete. We do have some punch list items that they're working on as well. And Wing 6 right now is about halfway done with the MCU, the block the cinder block that they're putting up in the wing. So they're making good progress on wing 6, and we're expecting by June, towards the end of June, to have that wing fully completed. So we're hoping in fall of 2026, that entire project will be completed. So thanks so much to the board, to the residents of the town for supporting it. It really has just changed the learning environment. Walking down the hallways, seeing staff, with doors and even some of the new security features we have, it's really changed the school. So thank you so much. It was a huge project, and our staff, families, and students have really come through.
You should have access now.
So what we did is,
I
Mr.
like when things like this happen right before the presentation goes. You're like,
Yep.
oh, worked 17 times beforehand.
Got
This
it.
time it doesn't feel like working.
So Mr. Trillo and our staff had a little fun in literally rolling out the red carpet. It says so you'll see some of our staff enjoying their new space as they walk in.
Welcome home. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
And Dr. Brumman, the video ends there. Can actually thank a Newington High School junior for that. My daughter Evelyn was able to help me with the editing process of that video when it came to CapCut videos.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought that wasn't just you.
No, over 40 doesn't really work out so well when it comes to trying to do editing videos like that.
But so that's just been great. And there's some other features too. For example, we maximize whiteboard space in all the rooms for our BTC work and math classrooms and others. So it just really transformed the space there. So thank you again to the board. So as far as culture and climate, we thought we would just highlight some of the ways of how we do business at John Walls, what it's like to be a staff member there, but also from a student perspective. So Mr. Trillo is going to help us and just kind of share how we do our professional learning and committee work, how that's been a collaborative effort, which really over the last, I'd say probably 3 to 4 years has really shifted from being led primarily by the administration and coaches to being a collaborative effort with our teacher leaders in the building, who are now assisting us in leading learning and professional development with our staff in collaboration with us. And the behavior expectations, which we developed collaboratively as a school community with our students, with our staff, with members of our parent equity team, and also community members. Just talk about that process and how we have those behavior expectations, which we're rolling out now. On a side note, Mr. Trillo was at a meeting for the Connecticut Association of Schools 2 days ago, I think it was, sharing our process to other administrators, building principals. And they were so impressed with the work at John Wallace that Mr. Trillo had done that they asked him to present at an upcoming leadership conference to just explain that process and how you can have a collaborative effort in developing these behavior expectations. So kudos to him for that. And then a little on student voice and just how are students helping us roll out these behavior expectations and having a voice in that process.
Hopefully those videos will be working, or we might be doing a couple of new refreshes now that we're checking on those. Well, to first start off with professional learning and committee work, this is an area we've actually been developing over the last few years and now has gone into complete fruition. So what we've been doing within it is we started off first, and as most schools do, kind of having that top-down version of professional learning, where it's the administrators are presenting out to the staff, going through a PowerPoint presentation. About 2 years ago, Mr. Dias and I both said, we need it to come from within. It needs to be teachers being able to talk to teachers about what we're learning, what we're doing, what they're doing great in the classrooms. And last year we did a collaborative format of that where we worked together with it through our equity work. This year we even took one more step back, where Mr. Dias and I and both our two coaches are not even involved in the actual professional learning anymore. We are there, we're helping to guide, but at the same time, it is fully facilitated, fully developed by teachers, for teachers. So one section of it is through academics, through what's called the learning pit. It's an area of thinking of that productive struggle when we talk about with students to make sure that they can be able to handle when they start to hit that block where they're just like, I can't figure this piece out, and not quit. It's helping them get through that component of it to be able to keep persevering, keep finding a way to get through. And then on our school climate side, which is through restorative practices and through these new behavior expectations. So the process is actually developed. We have 6 staff members who are focusing on the school climate section and 6 staff members who are focusing on the academic section. We break down into 3 groups, 2 teachers and 2 teachers. The class time is split. So both get the learning too. So it's not a situation of if you're one of the individuals presenting, you're not actually getting the professional learning. Everyone receives all aspects of the professional learning through it. And we've been doing that since the start of this school year. We have received great feedback. Staff are fully invested in it, number one. And secondly, they're able to have really authentic conversations because myself, Mr. Diaz, our coaches are not the individuals giving the presentation. We're able to walk around to each group, letting them have that vulnerability within their conversations that they're having to talk about what they're seeing within their own classrooms. The second part to that was through our committee work. As we've talked about a little bit before in the past with some of the work we've done for our school climate, we have a format for our committees that is a through line that each committee builds off of the one before it. So where we start with, where we have our equity teams, we have a student, parent, and staff equity teams. They, at the top of the list, are the ones who look at all data within inside of our school, whether it's academic or social emotional or discipline data, and they start to look for trends and start to see what are areas we need to focus on as a group. From there, that information, whether it is academic, moves into what's called our instructional leadership team. Whether it is dealing with school climate, meaning the social emotional side or discipline side, we'll focus on that area. From there, we break that down into really getting down to the nuance areas of it. If it is dealing with our social emotional learning, we want to work with our advisory crew as the ones that are creating lessons to help support students within that. And if it is from our discipline side, we're looking at those trends, determining on strategies and supports we can put in place for students. And that's where our behavior expectations were coming into play. So our work that you see here as we do that is allowing everyone having a voice inside of the school. Students and parents get a chance to go and provide feedback based off of as they're being told about these informations. And when we stated these behavior expectations, which I'll be able to go into a little more when we get to that section, parents were actually involved in the actual revisions and discussion pieces of how it should be written and what they want to see. Same thing with students, same things with staff. But through this, that's how our committee work works together to help facilitate and actually develop. So again, it doesn't feel like someone's telling you this is something you need to do. It's built organically within its own self, which helps to build that shared responsibility across the board for it.
We were big believers in this concept of collective efficacy. So our role as administrators and our coaches are more taking that coaching role, that facilitation role, and assisting and building the time in for our staff to be able to do the research, kind of helping set the conditions, making those connections back to our school improvement plan and kind of guiding the work. But it is being facilitated by our staff. We've received very positive feedback from our teachers as well.
Our behavior expectations, this has been about 3 years now in the making. This started with our equity work and through restorative practices. And what we looked at was, what is it we really want out of students? So we think of different actions that happen inside of a building. We know that many of the times that's just responses or ways of being able to communicate when students have any behavioral issues. We needed to find out what were the main things that we wanted to see out of students. We had to have a lot of really hard conversations. We had to really drill down what is it we're looking at. So when you think of a student, say, comes into class wearing a hood, and the student doesn't listen to you and you ask them to take it down, what are you really upset about? What's the part to it? We had to kind of keep digging deeper and deeper until we got to the point where we realized it's respect. I feel like I'm not being respected if I'm not being heard at that moment. We were like, perfect. That lets us know respect is one thing we want to work on as a building. As we did this work, we got to a point where our entire staff needed to meet in small groups and really focus on those specific words. It got to a nuanced section of that, but it allowed us to really break it down and figure out that the things we really focused on were, at that time, were respect, responsibility, and then we really came down to safety was our last word. From there, we brought that to our students. The students agreed with respect and responsible. They felt safety wasn't the right word. They felt it was being mindful. Once we saw that, we thought that was great. We needed to hear from the students of that part. We brought it to parents. Parents gave their feedback too in the same exact thing, and they actually liked our 3 choices of words of what were going to be our expectations. That was the end of that year 1. Year 2 then became the development of, well, what does this mean? What is going to be our shared definition of those words? is it couldn't just be something that we found inside of a book. We had to say, what do we believe it is? And how are we going to say, this is what we're going to stand behind inside of our building? And we did the same work throughout that year, developing that and then seeing what does that look like in a classroom, in a hallway, in the CAF, on the bus. We had to figure each of those parts out, and then we had to speak to students and get their feedback on it, and also families on it. Our parent equity team last year really did help with a lot of the process of how are we going to write these pieces? What were they hearing from their kids when they got home? What were they worried about when they're inside of schools and wanted to make sure for behaviors they wanted to see from their own children? Those whole areas is what developed our behavior matrices, which we then piloted throughout that year. And now we're in the point of actual full implementation. And we're in the development now of creating lessons to be able to teach it. Where again, this shared leadership came into play. That was created again by staff, students and parents both provided feedback. But now we're at a point where you'll see two examples of it. The students are taking responsibility and creating videos of what it should look like and what it shouldn't look like inside of the school. So again, it's not a situation of administration kind of coming in and saying, this is what it is. They want it to be able to show it themselves and be able to show what it could be when you put it into action. So this is one of those first videos.
Man, I'm so hungry today. I haven't eaten anything since last year. Hey. Hungry today. Why are you going so fast? You big bag? So how's the day
So as you can tell, that was for the cafeteria, for our behavior expectation of what it would be like to be responsible in a cafeteria. So they were able to show that for there. Our second video.
Some workarounds here, but I can do
Okay, nope. Listen, I'm just happy the videos are working. So
I don't care about being mindful.
Hey, that is not being mindful. You're not thinking about maintaining a safe environment. And you also have a very loud volume, which is not maintaining an appropriate volume. Action.
Salad is very yummy.
Hey, what are you doing, bro? You're not being mindful in the hallway.
Sorry, I was running from the deer in 99A. TP.
Thanks, TJ. That's what I was just about to say. In the hallway, we're being mindful by being aware of people and things around me. We should also have an appropriate volume level, which you definitely didn't have. Now, let's look at what being mindful in the hallway looks like. Hey, did you see those new fidgets in the school store?
Yeah, they're so cool, man.
If we keep on being mindful in the hallway, we can get those fidgets with Volleybucks.
Yeah, that's epic.
When we see you following these expectations, you get Volleybucks like I have here, and you spend them here at the school store, where you can buy things like pens, fidgets, and earbuds. That's all for now, Wildcats. Peace out.
So our plan is to actually use many of these videos. Every grade level, I should say every grade, 7th grade has been focusing the main part of it, but they're making it for all of our areas. And the plan is going to be next year when we go into our advisory lessons, we're going to make 3 specific ones, one on mindful, one on respect, and one on responsible, where we're going to use those videos to be able to start class discussions around it. So students will be able to be like around the room, we'll have 5 different stations, one for being, say, the cafeteria, one for the classroom going through, and the students will be in small group settings to be able to have a restorative circle and talk with each other about those areas and what are they seeing to try and really help them to get a deeper dive into why we need to be that. Why do we need to follow through with these behavior expectations? But our main thing we thought in the very end was we can show these pieces of it, but we wanted to have student voice on what they think of our culture and climate. So what you have here is some of that. You may want to put on the closed caption, just because some of them speak a little quietly.
It's a better education. That's really it. Like, the kids here is a little different than the last. There's no more ghetto. I like it. Better education.
there are many teachers around to help us, and there are many safety things to make sure that everyone is safe here at John Wallace. I think that the school they support you when it's school. They try to keep you included no matter your culture. And they try to keep you comfortable no matter what. Definitely. I feel like whenever I'm struggling or if I need a minute to just calm down, I can go to several places in school and I can just relax and have a minute to talk to somebody that I can Yes, at John Wallace Middle School, every student will look there and engage with us in different groups with support staff. Everybody is very welcome at John Wallace, and no one wants their other friends who left out of the group, so everybody will share
That's our culture over at John Wallace.
Thank you. Are there any questions, comments? Ms. Beatrice?
This is wonderful. And I remember when you presented last year too, or the year before, I'm getting it mixed up a little bit. And I was struck at that time that the amount of attention and the thoughtfulness that was put into rethinking the whole process and that the measurable gains that were made in all sorts of different areas and being really, really struck by that. I can't believe how mature these students are. I mean, it's for seventh graders, it's unbelievable. And the fact that everybody has ownership, the students have ownership, the parents have ownership, and together as a team, the empowerment of all of those voices, the success and the gains are measurable and continue to grow. And I think we all know sometimes middle school can be challenging. You know, there's a lot of changes that happen, a lot of behaviors that can be challenging, or things happen sometimes for reasons that the kids don't really understand. And to have their voice and they understand that their voice is just as meaningful as the adults that are involved in the process is so uplifting and empowering for them. Those are the belief in those students is going to carry them through, you know, the high school experience and on afterwards as well. So thank you so much, you and your team, all of your team, your student team and your parent team as well, for everything that you do. And it points again to how important the equity work is, and that a lot of the success and the forward motion comes from that deep dive and how we think about equity and how we think about allowing our students to play to their strengths and how that grows everybody forward. So again, thank you so much. I can't wait for next time, you know, to see the updates.
Mr. Sharma?
So thank you so much for your presentation. I love, all aspects of it, especially with the behavior, the experiential part of it, learning from the past. So it's amazing, groundbreaking. So thank you so much.
Mr. Halloran?
This presentation literally hits home for me. I have, for a lot of different reasons, I was fortunate enough to serve on the last board and was able to see the beginning of this. And it was very theoretical and aspirational. And to come away 3 years and see it really starting to have this communal growth around it. It's really something you can hold on to, and it's making real results. And I think you can't prescribe culture. It has to kind of organically be shaped. And I think that's exactly what you've done here. Also, I remember going to orientation with my daughter and looking around the school. I'm like, that's a shower curtain for a door. And I just think I'm on the committee, but just to see it come through, it's a completely different school, and for all the right reasons. The students love it. The teachers love it. Great work there. And, I have a middle schooler at John Wallace who's been there for 3 years. So I've been able to see her come home and talk about this. And I've seen some of those videos, none of the ones that were shown tonight, We have some very creative students. There's been special effects there. They had a lot of fun with them, but I think it's a way to make them feel like they are part of the process and in a way that is a positive and fun way to do it. I can't commend you enough. I mean, I think that this is how you shape a culture, by including the people who are affected by it the most. Thank you both so much.
Ms. Weaver.
Echo everything that was said. And now I have someone to text. I saw a familiar face or two there. I was like, wow, we could have some future board members or at least some dramatic arts in their future, definitely. But as was said, I think one of the great things is always the stakeholder engagement and truly being good stakeholders and bringing everyone in. I think one of the things that has really been a great asset to the larger district is your leadership on this of bringing in parents, bringing in students, and making sure that all voices are at the table. Because especially when you are a student, I think there is always a concern that you don't have the agency, and giving agency to students at this young of an age, I think is one of the greatest things you can do for them. And I think it builds right into our portrait of a graduate, where we're seeing them be critical thinkers, be self-advocates, and be active citizens in a participatory process. So thank you for building this kind of process. Not surprised that will be an example. So thank you, and just congratulations, of course, again on the success. Always look forward to hearing from you guys on this. Oh, and I just want to say thank you to all of the building folks, all of our folks, Tim and Sean who serve, Steve Woods, to the whole Wallace committee. Thank you guys for continuing to keep that on time, under budget, in the most beautiful way possible. It is great to see all of that green and to see it really come to fruition. So thank you guys for the time and effort.
Well, thank you for your presentation. I, like Mr. Holleran said, when you first came, it was, very abstract and very, the work was just beginning. But I think that, just as everyone else has said too, involving the students. And I think that, even the word from safety to mindfulness, it really is like the student's own word. And I think that just the videos are great, but it just allows them to feel like they're, they know what they need to do and it means something to them. Where safety, like adults, we always think of your safety, but for a kid to come up with kids to come up with that word mindfulness, I think it really says a lot. So, and it's really great that also, we talked about the students being involved, but the teachers too. Like you said, the teachers are developing and facilitating and you're there to support. But I think it also is really important for the staff, the teachers, not to have to just be told what to do, that they're part of the process. And I think that's fantastic. I just have a question. How many of the students are on the team committee?
The student equity team,
Yeah,
there are about 8 of them.
8 of them. And are they all different grades or?
All different grades, all different ethnicities. It's a great group of students. We use both them for feedback. We also use our student council for feedback too.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Congrats on your promotion. We already congratulated Dan, so. Yeah, thank you so much. All right. Yep, Dan, move back to your post. All right, new business. We have an administrative review of the child nutrition program.
Thank you very much. I'm pleased to invite Dana Markovics to join us tonight again. I do want to give her and Chrissy Roy a huge shout out. They prepared quite a while for a audit that comes along of their program, thankfully once every 5 years, but this was the year. And they went through it like champs. But what I wanted to share with the board, and one of the reasons why I wanted Dana to present this evening, is that the team that visited was so impressed that they requested a meeting with me to share their unbelievable accolades of our program under Dana's leadership. They said sometimes these meetings are kind of, sorry guys, you got a lot of changes to make. but this really wasn't that way. They were very impressed with the staff they met. They know they went to E. Green, and there was a second school. Was it Wallace?
Wallace.
So those and the folks at those respective schools did a great job as well. But I really wanted to thank Dana and Chrissy, because it's a lot of work and it's a lot of stress, but they came through with flying colors. So now I will turn it over to Dana to give us an overview, a high-level overview of what some of the takeaways were.
All right, thank you. Good evening, everybody. I am pleased to share a brief recap of the recent administrative review. It was conducted by the Connecticut State Department of Education Child Nutrition Programs, and they looked at both our school breakfast and national school lunch programs. These reviews occur approximately every 5 years, and our last review was back in January 2018. The purpose of the review is to ensure compliance with both federal and state regulations, and also to support continuous improvement of school nutrition programs. This year's review process was comprehensive and included an extensive off-site review during which we responded to more than 200 detailed questions, and we submitted over 60 supporting documents. There also was an on-site review, and that was conducted January 27th and 28th of this year. And as Dr. Brummett mentioned, it was at John Wallace Middle School and Elizabeth Green Elementary School. And during the visit, the state reviewers did validate the documentation that we submitted. They observed meal service operations, both breakfast and lunch, and they did assess compliance across all required areas. Kind of just to review what they covered, there were several key components of our program, and this included meal access, accountability, and reimbursement. And they were looking at this just to ensure that all students have appropriate access to meals. They looked at eligibility determinations were accurate, and meals are properly counted and claimed for reimbursement. Meal quality and compliance. They wanted to confirm that our meals do meet federal nutrition standards, and that we do offer all the required meal components, and correct portion sizes are served. We also had to submit information on our financial and resource management. They needed to verify that because our program is a non-profit school food service account, they want to make sure that it's properly managed and that all revenues and expenditures are allowable and well documented. There was quite a bit of general program requirements. They looked at civil rights compliance, on-site monitoring, which we conduct annually, and that's where we really go on-site to the different schools, and we really want to just make sure that they are claiming meals correctly, because that is attached with federal dollars, and so that is really important that, you know, we're offering what we need to be offering, and that we are charging accordingly. They also looked at our food safety plan. We do have HACCP books in all of our kitchens. They wanted to make sure that we were in compliance with healthy food certification, Buy American requirements. We are allowed to spend about 10% of our overall food costs with items that are not American, but we do have to track that, and we need to document which items don't meet the Buy American requirements. And I would say bananas are really one of the big items, because we do offer those. We do offer bananas on our menus. We also had to document all of our professional standard training that we do with staff. And I really am kind of, you know, proud of what we do. With the staff, we do food safety sanitation training. We remind them, you know, what does a reimbursable meal look like? What do students have to have on their tray? We do offer versus serve, but we also do customer service training, which is really important. And something new this review was procurement procedures. So this was something new, and Newington was actually the first non-management company to have to go through the process. So it was also new for the state. And that was something that we did well in as well as the actual general administrative review. I'm very happy to report that overall the review was very positive. There were minor corrective actions that were identified, but no findings resulted in fiscal action against the district. As overwhelming as an administrative review can feel, it highlights the tremendous amount of hard work involved, and it makes it even more rewarding to see the program emerge stronger after the review than it was before the review. So that's kind of like my focus. And when I talk with staff and we kind of prep them for the training, we kind of do go over what the state's going to be looking for, what questions they may ask, how they, might be able to answer the questions. And I'd have to say, they really were proud of what they do, and they kind of wanted the state to see all the great things that they do. And specifically at Wallace, Denise, my manager, and she was really great helping put the review together as well. And the staff, a couple of days before the on-site portion, they would be coming in like, okay, Denise, you need to quiz us. We got this. We know it. And then she would be like, why do we have a HACCP book? Because they kept like asking, and they did very well. She finally was like, you guys got this. You know that you got this. Stop asking me these questions because you're doing very, very well. But again, it's just the fact that they wanted to do very well. I think just speaks volumes about them. So I would also say the best part of the review was how complimentary the reviewers were about our district. And, Dr. Brummett did, mention that earlier. Mr. Greg King, he noted the professionalism and the cooperation of our food service staff, and specifically highlighted the welcoming environment in our cafeterias. They also did mention Mr. Doran. He actually met the reviewer and he walked her down, and they kind of talked about stuff. They're very impressed with Brian, the CAF aide, and all that he does for the students. The fun little games that or prizes he hands out with, good behavior and that sort of stuff. So she was she was really impressed with the overall E-Green school. I will say it was especially meaningful to hear that reviewers observed the strong rapport between staff and students, as well as a wide variety of fresh fruits and vegetables that we offer daily. They also commented on our creative, trend-driven menu options, which include noodle and rice bowls and vegan chicken sandwiches that we do offer. Mrs. Jen Bove, she did comment that she has never seen salmon on a school lunch menu, and that the staff, she was really impressed with the staff at E-Green knew all the students by name when they were going through the line. She was also impressed that we offer vegetables cooked with different ingredients to encourage students to eat more vegetables. For example, instead of just serving steamed broccoli, we offer roasted broccoli with garlic, trying to make it a little more appetizing for them. And it truly was rewarding to hear such positive remarks, particularly from reviewers who regularly visit other school districts and previously were food service directors. So they've been on both sides of the administrative review. Their feedback reflects definitely the dedication, the care, the professionalism of our food service staff, what they bring to their workday every day, and the important role they play in supporting students' overall school experience. We talk about the connection the staff has with students, every year when the employees are recognized at the Board of Ed meeting for Cafeteria Workers Day. I enjoy sharing, staff stories of these connections, but hearing the state talk about the staff, certainly kind of supports this. I would also like to thank the board for your support in revising the local wellness policy and the meal charge policy in response to the review. As a result of the procurement section of the review, we need to revise our micro purchases language. It's kind of specific to the child nutrition programs. I know that we're working on a draft policy to kind of be presented to the policy committee before it moves forward to the full board for discussion and action. And Dan Diaz and I are meeting tomorrow to discuss it further. I also want to thank the board and, senior administration as well for the support of the school breakfast and national school lunch programs. And I would like to, shout out to my staff for all their hard work, not only for the review, but what they do every day for our students. So that's kind of the brief overview. Are there any questions that you may have regarding the review or any of the, corrective actions?
No questions? I don't think so, but oh yeah, it's comments, go for it. Ms. Weaver.
Dana, I just want to say okay. Sorry, technical difficulties as always. But Dana, thank you so much. Kudos to you. There's not enough kudos. We have I think nearly 15 pages just of the all the things you had to submit, the review, the absolutely deserved praise of all of their programming. It is always a pleasure to have you and your staff present. Particularly when you come and present all of the amazing meal options and all of the incredible creative things that you're doing. And then just to see the immense lift that this is, because I was going to say, I was like, I don't remember this when I've been on the board. Okay, makes sense, 2018. Okay. This is a lot. And I just cannot thank you enough, cannot thank your staff enough for all of the work that you do day in and day out to not only make this look so easy, because this is like frying my brain right now, looking at all of the different boxes and all of this. But just, I mean, I'm not shocked because we know how incredible it is, but I'm so glad that you're able to get those in the biz to get that positive feedback because clearly it is so deserved. So thank you for doing all this. I know we have our policies on the docket tonight to pass in light of this. So we'll get on that on our end. But just thank you again for what you do. Please extend our gratitude to your staff as well. You are a rock star in your own right, and so is your staff. And cannot thank you enough for the work that is done on this and day out. I am very glad this is only 5 years, every 5 years, but
Me too.
but still, the work is incredibly appreciated.
Thank you very much.
Ms. Beatrice.
Just to build upon what Ms. Weaver was talking about, I think it is so incredibly important for our community, but especially our school families, to understand the intricacy and the seriousness and the considerations that not just you and your staff undertake every single day, but that you've been recognized by the state, that you do such a wonderful job. Our families need to understand, and now do understand, the immense amount of work and responsibility that this is. And we always want to remember that for many of our students, especially those who are a little bit on the tougher end of life, that this may be one of the only real nutritious meals that they get every day. And so we want to do what we can for our students, but especially our most vulnerable students, and our families have confidence now in knowing that this nutrition program is so incredibly important. It reaches into so many different directions. It is managed in a way that is appropriate, responsible, and creative. And it's always the students that benefit the most. And I think we all know that when students have access to good, healthy nutrition, that impacts their abilities to learn. So thank you so much for everything that you and your staff are doing. You should be super, super proud.
Thank you.
Mr. Halloran and Mr. Sharma.
Thank you so much. Hungry kids can't learn. And I think that the service that we provide is absolutely vital to everything we're trying to do as a board to complete our mission, to complete the portion over graduate. And then I'm going to use a well-intended pun here. You have a lot of spinning plates in the air at the same time. You've got to say, are we in compliance? Is this affordable at scale? Is this nutritious? And then I think the hardest one is, will they eat it? And I think that trying to find that balance is a daily struggle. And the results of this overview are fantastic. There's always going to be things that we can do better on. But I think that, you know, kind of just going through the report, I can see why they were impressed. Like, it is taking it to the next level. And I think that's something your whole team does every single school day. So thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Sharma.
Hey, so I just want to thank you for the presentation. It was excellent. I love the idea of the menu selections that you have, and also like focusing on students. I mean, encouraging them to eat more vegetables. That's amazing. Instead of steamed broccoli, sauteed with the garlic, that's amazing. And having salmon on the menu. So, incredible job. We're really proud of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dana, I just have two questions. The policy that you need revised, is there a due date for that?
There is. It's March 6th, but I can get an extension.
Okay. I was going to say, because we don't have another meeting. Well, yeah, I don't. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'll touch base with Dan
Perfect.
to see. I know he's meeting, I think, March 2nd with the policy committee. And then we can kind of look at realistically when we can maybe get it in front of the board for a vote. So I just need to reach out to the state and ask for an extension. And they even said during the exit conference that wouldn't be a problem.
Okay, great. And then for the findings, the wellness committee, is that something the district has had previously, or?
I think we last met like in 2005.
Okay.
So we're going to reinstitute it.
Yes.
And Mr. Diaz and Ms. Markovitz are already on it. There's this, Dan is already, as has Dana, reached out to numerous stakeholders, and the committee is already, I think, gelling together with good membership. And our goal is that they will meet at least once before the end of the school year. I believe the guidelines are 2 to 3 times a year.
Okay.
So we will be back in the saddle with the wellness committee very soon.
Great. It would be fantastic to get an update from the newly formed wellness committee.
But that will also be something I would get an extension for, because we won't have it all completed by March 6th.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And everything else, like, is there anything else on the findings that you are concerned about, or like it's all, I think you said in reading through it, it looks like, put up a sign or.
I know. Those little things got me so mad. I'm like, really? So I was like so bothered even by the little things, but it is what it is. We didn't have any financial sanctions, so that's good.
Yeah. No, that's good.
No, I'm not concerned with anything else with the corrective actions.
Okay, thank you.
I've completed most of them already.
Great, thank you. And I think just the fact that you were concerned about the little things like a sign, it really just speaks volumes to how much you and your staff and everybody care about the work that you're doing. And as Mr. Holleran said, it's, very important. You can't teach hungry kids. So I just want to thank you, your staff, and I loved hearing the commentary from the visits and just the interactions with the visitors into our school and how the cafeteria workers are interacting with our students and just everything. It's really great. I love when you come because you just always have that extra little special touch, and it just makes, it just really feels good to know that the students are all taken care of when they come in for breakfast and lunch, and just shows how much that you and your team and everybody cares about the work that they're doing. So huge extra super thank you. I know this was a lot of work, especially since it's supposed to be done every 5 years and it was 2018 the last time. So extra couple of years of not having to do it is, it's a lot. So thank you so much. And thank you for coming to our meeting. It was a fantastic presentation.
You're welcome. Thank you. I just wanted to add that I did think of you when they mention the fresh fruits and vegetables, because I know you like to say, well, you know, Dana likes her variety of fresh fruits and vegetables. I've heard you say that many times. So when they said that, I thought of you immediately.
Love it.
So
Okay.
thank you,
and
everyone.
Thank you so much.
All right. Have a good night.
You too.
Thanks.
All right. Board policies 6142, 101, and 3195.
Well, I think Ms. Markovitz kind of put in why we need these policies. So the justification is there. So 6142, 101, we've already kind of put multiple times to the board and kind of discussed as a full board. We did not really make any adjustments that were any kind of substance. I just noted in the free and reduced lunch part. So all of the red is new language to kind of match the findings from that audit, but just adding in that we have a free and reduced lunch policy already. So just noting where there are places where there could be duplication or areas where it makes more sense to have more in greater detail information on free and reduced lunch. That's why I put it there. And that's one of our correctly numbered policies. So that will stay corrected in that number. But yeah, I think everyone has seen all of this. All of the minutes for all of these things are all within the guidance of that. And then I think as Ms. Freeman had pointed out, if we keep kind of going down, the last time we met as a board, we talked about celebrations. You can hear my consternation a lot about this. That's really mostly applicable to the elementary schools. So Ms. Freeman and I think it was then Mr. Ritchie added in this new language that was there, and I think curriculum was good with it, policy was good with it as well, so that it's more clear of what that looks like and who it's applicable to. So
Ms. Freeman said we revised the language to make it more broad.
Correct. So that gives, and it's clear at the elementary level, and they have their own protocols and that kind of stuff. So that'll be at the elementary level that this is really applicable to. So yeah, and then if we keep scrolling down to just of note, we did just change and make sure it's clear. This is reflective of what our current minutes of physical education instruction and physical activity are. We will get docked for not having the ideal amount, but I don't know any school that does have the ideal amount and then still has time to teach their students. So we'll get like a 1 versus a 2. If we did not have the specificity, we would not get any. So this is kind of the best way we can get on this assessment for that. So we all agreed on policy, and I think on curriculum too, that would be the best course of action. And then we just made sure it was clear throughout the policy, the delineation between, I think it just said physical education, or it said PE. So I just made sure all of them said physical education. And that was kind of the main ones. Everyone else has seen all of the other fun of this.
Any questions or comments on this policy? Dr. Brumett?
I wanted to add that as part of the exit conference with the state representatives, I let them know that we wanted to make sure this language was realistic for Newington. I know that was something we were challenged by or concerned about. So they gave me the name of someone in their department that oversees the policies, and they gave this the eyeball and gave it the 2 thumbs up as well. So I think we're in very good stead with all the work done on this policy.
Yes, and thank you to all of the different hands that had to be on this and extensive research that had to be done, more than I think any of our other policies on that one. So gratitude abounds for that one. And then the other one is just 3195, which is one that we had already looked at, which is our meal charging policy. We literally only changed one word in it, and that's just to apply to a la carte. I think you'll see it. Sorry, we changed the phrase too. Okay, we were only going to change or a la carte, and then this is what happens in policy. You start looking at it a little longer and people go, oh, maybe we should change this and stuff. So between Ms. Beatrice and Dr. Stanley, we agreed to just the verbiage of, it said for adults, and we just wanted just the phrasing was a little off. So we changed that to understand what adults is referred to within the scope of this policy, teachers, staff, and visitors. And that is,
We could have a student that's 18.
yes, and that is what. Yep, and that was the thought. So those are the only changes there.
Okay.
Oh, and I'm sorry, this was the other addition we didn't add, but this was to be in compliance again with the with that policy or the audit.
Which is something we do, but
Anyway,
wasn't.
Yep,
Yeah.
this is
Just wasn't
anything
written.
that, anything usually, I will say for the most part, is just codifying current practice.
Okay. Any questions on this one? Okay. We
All right,
voting on that?
yeah, I'll entertain a motion or I can do it. Let me just find it. Yes. Sorry, I just have to go through all of the audit. I got it. Actually, there's no recommended motion.
Well, you can make it up.
Okay. Move that the Board of Education approve the adoption of policy 6142.101, student nutrition and physical activity, student wellness policy, and policy 3195, meal charging policy as amended.
Second.
A motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, we're voting on the two policies to approve. Would you please do a roll call vote?
Mary Beecher,
Yes.
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 Ryan,
Yes.
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 Yes. Thank you, policy team.
Okay, thank you, everyone. That was a big policy and definitely a lot of discussion that had to go into that with many different parties. So thank you for that. All right, next is setting Newington High School graduation date. I'll turn it over to Dr. Brennan.
Thank you very much. I know that we've discussed this at the board table in the past, that Public Act 19195 allowed school boards to set the graduation date, and then after that, if there are any more snow days, that does not impact the graduation date. But prior to it being snow days do affect the graduation date. So right now, we've had 3 snow days, which now puts our last day of school at June 22nd. We did explore the possibility of allowing seniors to have 180 days, which would have made graduation for them June 19th. Unfortunately, the venue that we utilized, the Oakdale, is closed that day for Juneteenth. So it really left the next available date is June 22nd, which is currently the last day of school for everybody. If the board does pass this tonight and we have another round of snow days, it does not need to change. We are in good shape going forward. So that is where we're at. This administrative team at the high school is in support of setting this date. Some folks have wondered why we didn't do it sooner. But if we set it sooner and there are the snow days like we just had, then seniors are getting out numerous days ahead of underclassmen. And that does create a lot of challenges with the schedule for exams and other issues. So Principal Tigno had asked that we hold off until this point in time. So to be clear though, once it's set tonight, if that's what the board chooses to do, that further snow days will not impact it. And I will turn it back over to board chair for further discussion.
Are there any questions or discussion? Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think none of this is ideal. This is like the winter from, let's just say me and Punxsutawney Phil have some beef right now. And I think everyone's grappling with this too, obviously. And I know it was probably looked at, just confirming with like every other date too, that like, you know, I know people have April break and people have stuff planned already, and I know people have stuff planned after. And this is never the ideal. This is probably as much notice as we can give. I would want to give more notice than not notice. And just honestly pray that we just don't have any more snow. But this has probably been one of the worst winters we've had, I think, in like quite some time, according to the meteorology reports since 2018. So yeah, I mean, I think my position would be reluctantly have to support, because I think we're in no place to go other than the state. So thank you for looking too at what the possible dates would be as well, and appreciate the administration looking at what the flexibility would be.
Mr. Halloran?
Yeah, I agree. Don't think it's an ideal situation, but I think we need to set it now because this is as much notice as we can. And I think that just coincides with everything. I'd also like to move that the superintendent, knock on wood for uttering the phrase another round of snow days. Let's just pray and hope we don't have any more. But I think that, I would be in favor of setting it for the 22nd as well.
Mr. Sharma?
I think based on like everyone's advice, I believe, if the high school admins are okay with this date, right? So
Yes, they are.
I think we don't have a lot of choices, so I think it works out good if we do this date.
Okay. Then I guess we need a motion.
I move that the Newington Board of Education approve January 22nd, 2026. I'm
What?
sorry, June 20. Then we were way behind.
I
June
know.
22nd, 2026 is a firm graduation date for students in grade 12 at Newington High School.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? June 22nd. I think since admins at the high school think this is the best date, and that's what we should do. Deb, when you call the roll, they're not able to hear online, so do you want to just use the mic? Or
Can't hear me.
no, or maybe Dr. Barnett's mic.
Mary Beatrice,
Yes.
John Halloran,
Yes.
Marissa Lensing,
Yes.
Timothy Newton,
Yes.
Amy Parati,
Yes.
Brian Skibo,
Yes.
Sam Sharma,
Yes.
Dr. Gail Stanley,
Yes.
Jessica Weaver.
Yes.
Motion passed 9-0.
Thank you. All right. See a lot of you on June 22nd, 2026. It'll be a very exciting night. No more snow. All right.
Wait for the song check now.
Next up is canceling a meeting.
Yes, I'll just briefly explain.
Why are we doing that?
I will be out of state at a conference and looking collaboratively with the board chair about any pressing agenda items. We felt that it could be canceled without a negative impact into any board business. We did have one presentation scheduled that night, Martin Kellogg, but they've graciously agreed to move that. Other than that, we didn't have anything that was pressing for that meeting.
Also, it's Charlotte's birthday, her 5th birthday.
Well, that
So
played into it
definitely she will thank you. Ms. Weaver?
I can remember when it was like her 2nd birthday. This is
No,
nice.
she's 85.
Okay. I will move the Board of Education cancel the regular meeting scheduled for Wednesday, March 25th, 2026.
Second.
Thank you. And as Dr. Bremer said, there's nothing right now that's pressing, but if something does come up and we need to, we
That's
can always
okay.
schedule a meeting. Mr. Newton, did you have a comment? No? Okay. So yeah, if needed, we will schedule another meeting at, can you please call the vote? I don't know, I'm tired.
Mary Beatrice,
Yes.
John Halloran,
Yes.
Marissa Lensing,
Yes.
Timothy Newton,
Yes.
Amy Parati,
Yes.
Brian Skibo,
Yes.
Sam Sharma,
Yes.
Dr. Gail Stanley,
Yes.
Jessica Weaver.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously 9-0.
Thank you. All right. Budget time.
All righty. Once again, budget team amazing has been back at the drawing board, looking for more ways to save money. And hats off to Lynn Bover, who's here this evening, and Karen. And all of my team. Actually, Kristen found some more savings for this budget. So everyone, as the board can see, has had a keen eye toward what can we do to make sure our ask is as low as possible. So what we did since our last meeting is dive into many areas. So I'm just going to kind of go into some of these questions that the board had, and then I will certainly show some of the potential for more reductions. There was questions among the board about the school-based health center. My understanding today is some funding that could impact this has moved through the Senate successfully. And we're awaiting word soon from, I believe, tomorrow's legislative action. But the board did ask, what exactly is the legislative body looking at? So we did share at the request of Representative Turco a one-pager about everything that the school-based health center does. And this is kind of the overview that was presented to this legislator, and they have it. I saw it in an attachment to their documents. And we're requesting funding to allow us to sustain our current scope of services, which is a full-time behavioral health clinician. And that is her salary up on the board of $75,000 annually or during the school year. Part-time advanced practical nurse, and her 2 days a week at $64,373, supplies and equipment, and then indirect costs, which is the oversight from Integrated Health Services. So we are currently supported by a grant, but it is going to expire at the end of this year. Some of that original grant money was used to procure equipment that we no longer have to procure because we have it. We had to make some adjustments to some of the rooms, but that's all set. So I did want to provide the board with that information that they requested. So that is now linked into this presentation if folks want to dive a little deeper into it. I don't know if there's any questions in that regard.
I do not see any.
Okay. The next area that the board had questions about is the non-lapsing fund. It does not bear any interest. I believe we might have answered that last night, but I want to make sure. There was also a request for a 5-year look back of the tuition charges that we have here in the district for our out-of-district placed special education students. I mean, as I said earlier, you're not going to see a lot of districts in the state that have declining costs there. And again, I give full credit to the special education department for growing our in-district programs that allows us to serve our most challenging students, some of our most challenging students right here in Newington through a variety of programs. So you can see from last year to this year, we have dropped our tuition request. So I believe we've already done our due diligence in reducing that cost. But we've been hovering around 4.3 to almost 5 million in previous years, and next year we're requesting 4.1 million. So we do reflect in that ask the experiences and real projections of what students we have currently, as well as 5 holding spots, placeholders, because would be unrealistic to go through an entire school year without having at least 5 students requiring it, many of whom come to us from other places already outplaced. So this is kind of our 5-year look back of what we have spent on out-of-district placements. We do factor in that the excess cost grant is applied, so that's already factored into the ask. And this change has, we also have done submission of tuition dollars for Medicaid as we talked about the other evening, but that's a pretty small component of this. What we wanted the board to see is we're heading in the right direction with a lower ask this year, and we're pretty proud of that. So I think we've done our due diligence in our request.
Thank you. Any questions on that? Just back to the well, first for this, since it's on the screen, I do think that's a very, like, it is kind of good to see, or like nice to see that it is down from that 21-22 line, the 5 years back. And that's even accounting for the, potential for new students to
Yes.
come to the district. And I think, I've heard like anecdotally that Newington is a very great town for special education. And I just want to thank again the staff and the special department, all the teachers and everyone who supports those students for doing as much as we can. The ESS program definitely helps as well. I think it saves over $1 million, right, on outplacements. So I think just all of that combined, it really is a good number to see, and good to see that look back where like you said, the cost is going down for those students. Ms. Weaver.
Yeah, just curious, is there any particular driver of, we got the public nearly cut in half, but then the private kind of doubles? Is there any particular reason? Do we know that, or is it just?
When they split it inaccurately.
Okay.
So it was switched.
Okay.
So we corrected it going forward.
So like I'm just talking about from 25, 26 to.
The public is CREC.
Okay.
And CREC has less than the larger outplaced places. So there's the reason it says 4,464,000. If you look at the actual budget, this is the budget. This is not the expenses. The expenses were flip-flopped.
Okay.
But you asked for budget figures, so I gave you budget figures.
And just to clarify, the public expenditures refers to CREC, students who are in CREC or other magnets that are special education, and they require us to pay for services. And that's billed to us. We have to spend that or pay that out annually. The private would refer to kids who need to go to an out-of-district private placement for highly specialized services.
And you're saying it's not accurate, the 571 and 464, that it was just allocated incorrectly, or did the cost of the private school outplacements increase significantly last year?
When they split them, they just split them to the wrong budget number.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no question in my
Yeah.
mind that the private placements would far exceed.
Yeah.
An average cost of outplacing a child is $80,000. So it would definitely add up pretty quick. Although again, we are able to apply excess cost to this line.
Some outplacements can be as much as 500,000 if it's
can be very
inpatient.
significant.
Okay.
So,
thank you. Any other on the special ed tuition? Just back to the non-lapsing, can it be interest bearing? Like, what's the rule about that? Or is it and the town gets it, or what's going on?
The reason I was given that it's not in an interest-bearing account is because they do not know when we will need to use it. So they don't put it into the state fund, the STIF fund. They keep it in an account that also helps create compensating balances so that we don't have to pay for all the checks that we process.
Okay.
Because we process quite a lot of checks.
Okay. So it's okay that it's not just from your experience, your professional experience.
In most places, you have to have the compensating balances, or they'll charge you $5,000 or $10,000 a month for your banking services. So it's not a bad thing.
Okay. Ms. Weaver?
But we could put it in the STIF account. Just wondering, given that he works down the hall from me. I was only wondering, and I know they do the daily cash flow, so I'm just curious if it's not much of an interest rate. I mean, they don't offer too much, but would just be curious if there are accounts that we could use with STIF, just because.
I don't know
also-
the answer
Okay.
to that. We could certainly explore it further.
I
We
can talk
were-
to the guy. I'll ask Paul.
But that is true. We may need to access it, so I don't know if there's penalties for accessing it too quickly, like some other banking type accounts. I
They
just
usually
don't know.
have, usually because the stiff account has a daily liquidity fund, so they have a certain amount that they have to have on daily liquidity. So usually it would be that, but that's just me nerding out right now.
Okay,
So
yeah,
I
was
will,
gonna say, Eric,
I'll
we're
come back
nerding
to
out right
that.
now.
No worries.
But we can explore it
Yeah,
further,
no,
but
I'm just
we basically reached out to Janet just to see her understanding, and that was her understanding. Okay. And then the last Q&A that we have recorded here is what was really the driver of last year's realized savings? So just to quickly do the math, we ended up with a balance at the end of last year of 1.497 million. We had to return 600,000 to the town because we only had a 1% cap at that point on our non-lapsing fund. We weren't able to put any more in. So that went back to the town, and it spent a little time in the non-lapsing fund, but it went back to the town. So that left us with a balance of, or a transfer of 897,426 to the non-lapsing fund. The board was notified of this in memos sent by my office and Mr. Giacomowicz's office last year, at the end of last fiscal year. When we did a look back, the most significant component of that was employee benefits. Last year, and really diving deep into that, we had over budgeted for employee benefits, ironically, and a little bit in other salaries. But interesting, this year employee benefits skyrocketed by 18%. And ironically, having it slightly overfunded last year made this year's increase less painful. If that had been more closely budgeted for, we would have had a huge leap. I think we were talking about it earlier today, of well over $1 million, if not $1.7 million in our benefits, because we did and continue to get a quote of an 18% increase in our health benefits. And then in a year when we're trying to add more people to the health benefit. So that is the real driver of the realized savings when we did a deeper dive. At the end of the year, and then the board's familiar with this, we have to reconcile everything. So there's pluses and there's minuses. Some accounts were deeply in the red. They get backfilled, and other accounts were, and when the dust settled, the driver of the majority of that realized savings, which ended up going to non-lapsing, was the employee benefits. Other salaries is things like the retirement increment and other ancillary funds that we have to set aside for certain benefits for folks. That was slightly overfunded. And other lines were, to be clear, these weren't the only lines that were over or underfunded. The goal, the process is they get balanced at the end of this fiscal year, and the net was, in a look back, this particular area. So.
Okay, any questions or comments on any of this? Go ahead.
So just to be clear too, the employee benefits now, we're much tighter on that.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, and to full credit to Lynn and her new set of eyeballs on our budget. She's done a lot of deep diving into it, looking at actuals, looking at trends, and did a lot of heavy lifting in that this year. So we're budgeting pretty tight. So hopefully we feel comfortable, but if there's any type of catastrophic issues, that could be a challenge. But right now, we really wanted to continue to look at our trends and paint as close a picture for the board as possible. And in fact, when I get to the reconciliation page, you're going to see some additional work.
Okay. Let's go there.
Just quick snapshot. As we head into tonight's meeting and the work done by the board on the meeting online the other evening, the board adjusted the budget I guess that was Monday, by $1 million using non-lapsing resources and brought it.
I don't think we voted on that yet.
We
talked about.
I believe we reduced it to 5.53 by adding.
We voted on that?
Let me get to my budget reconciliation page.
didn't think we did. I thought we,
I thought we just did the corrective.
yeah, I thought we,
Here's what it looked like at the end of the meeting on the 23rd.
because I think we were talking about whether or not we wanted to add in the school-based health center and Nor'easter Academy and use it from non-lapsing or increase our ask.
Correct.
So I don't know if we voted that $1 million non-lapsing, but maybe we should review the notes.
Yeah, that is what I have in my review. That's what I have in my notes. I mean, we have further reductions here, but what I believe that the board did do is agree to use another $1 million in non-lapsing fund. Because
Yeah, we do. I don't know that we voted on it, so I would feel more comfortable if we kind of just made I don't know, like reconciled that, because I know we voted on the correction. I just don't recall. Does anyone else recall?
Get the minutes.
We didn't vote on it, yeah, okay. And it was in the sheet already, but I don't think we actually voted.
I thought we just voted to correct the.
Yeah.
Can we look at the minutes?
Yeah, it doesn't pull them up.
It's on the back table as well, I believe.
Yeah, didn't we vote? on them?
Yeah.
We approved that.
There would be additional cuts, which I believe there are.
there are. There was one that came up at the end of the evening from Ms. Freeman that weren't part of this tally, but well, folks can do a little research on the minutes, so we make sure our motion tonight is accurate. While we're figuring that out, the additional things that the board wanted to be discussed this evening are the reinstitution of or put back into the budget, the Nor'easter Academy, which is $100,000, as well as the Student Health Center, which is $160,000. So with those in, along with assuming the non-lapsing is in, what we may need to add a motion tonight to straighten that out, but fiscally, if the non-lapsing money is in for another $1 million and we add back in the Nor'easter Academy and the Student Health Center, the board would be adding $260,000 in for an increase of 5.82%.
I have the minutes here.
Okay, what do you got?
The motion was Jessica Weaver moved to correct the adopted budget for 2026-2027 from 97,698,403, an increase of 6.64% to 97,682,153, or a 6.62 increase. So it wasn't.
Didn't go. Okay, my apologies. We had noted it differently on our reconciliation sheet. So I will correct that slide, although I'll just correct it with tonight's.
That's okay, because we're gonna add it in there.
So, so that being said, then let's roll that back up. So the board voted on a 5.63 or a corrected 5.63 the other evening. If the $1 million is offset into the budget, then the budget goes to 5.53%, and that does include para benefits. Adding back in the Nor'easter Academy and the Health Center again puts another $260,000 back into the budget, which would bring it to 5.82%. But then with some good work done by both Kristen Freeman's office, which she did bring up briefly Monday evening, but we didn't have a chance to put it into this reconciliation sheet for board purposes. But we've reduced supplies throughout certain funds. One of the reasons we were able to do this is
We're not seeing what you're seeing. But it's weird because you are sharing. Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's all right. Sorry to confuse everybody. Getting up at 4:40 is just not good for me. And we looked at supplies, we looked at, we found that there was a grant overseen by Seth Korn for AP courses that we could use some of to offset some AP expenses that were in next year's budget that has to be spent before the end of the year. So you can see these are small reductions, but yet they do add up to, I believe it was over $40,000. Additionally, we wanted to look at special ed contracted services, reducing that by $100,000.
Transportation.
Yep, special ed contracted transportation services, correct. We looked at that a little deeper because with the outplacements getting a little less involved, we checked with Dean today about whether we could cut that a bit more with fewer kids requiring that transportation. He felt comfortable with the $100,000 reduction. We also looked at repairs for transportation. We looked at a 5-year look back and felt that could be comfortably reduced by $50,500. And other supplies and transportation, we looked at a reduction of $8,050. We did talk to Dean as well about tires. He said, no, he needs the tires. So he can only go so far. And then talk to me, Lynn, about the add special education contracted services.
Back when the budget was first done, Marilena had accidentally not carried the ABC over. She spoke about it earlier. That was the add back of that $28,000.
Oh, we didn't account for that up ahead.
So with all of the ins and outs, this would put a net increase of 5.63%, which includes adding in Oyster Academy, School-Based Health Center, but also the reductions listed before you on this reconciliation page. My apologies for thinking that we had already, the board had already approved the additional $1 million in non-lapsing. So we'll correct this reconciliation page to put it under tonight's business, as well as the slide that already put it in for tonight as well. So I will turn over to board chair for any questions.
Okay. Ms. Weaver.
No, thank you for that. I think we were all in consensus about the use of that. So, but obviously you wanted to wait, and I knew there'd just be some special fines. And this one does include Ms. Freeman's mention of those cuts as well. Is that correct?
It
Okay.
does. It's in the purplish.
Purplish. It is. All of those things are included. Okay.
Yes, they are.
Over multiple lines. Okay. So I guess my question would be about the funding. So just for transparency in public, we note that the Senate met today, and in that there is 1.5 million for fiscal year 26, 27, and 1 million.
25, 26.
25, 26. And 1 million, but it's across the Senate 9 district. We don't know, and I know there's someone in the room that may know more.
He claimed he does not.
Okay. We don't know how much of that will go to, it's for, this is Senate Bill 298. It would be for school districts in Newington, Weathersfield, Cromwell, Rocky Hill, and Middletown, aka the Senate 9 district, for support or establishing school-based mental health programming. But it is not clear how much we will get from that.
Correct.
And we will not know until after it's passed. And it is not passed the House yet. So I feel comfortable with the amount of cuts that are happening. So appreciate and noting that we have to get this budget before March 1 to the town. I think, one, it's in a great place. And I think our conversations on Monday, I think, highlighted the real importance of the school-based health center. And I feel that I think we are in agreement. I won't speak for all of us, but there is a consensus here, and I feel strongly that it's a great program, and hearing the benefits that students have. And I feel like it's important to keep that in the budget as is right now, with probably an asterisk that we could reduce if we do get some of these monies. I anticipate some monies, but I we literally have no idea how much money that is. And I don't think it's responsible budgeting to simply give over a budget and then say, we will get some monies, we don't know how much. That's just not smart. But I feel like perhaps we could let the town know we anticipate these funds. This is our budget request as of this date, as is always the case. I feel like there's been a lot of cuts and a lot of attention at an incredibly granular level. So I feel good about that. And I feel like with the big asterisk that there is room for small reduction, well, indeterminate reduction, I guess, knowing that these funds would be coming to us, which thank you to our legislators for advocating for that funding. It's incredibly important to have the state give any of us funding in this kind of day and age. Is a continual fight. So thank you for fighting for every dollar here. Long rant over, but just wanted to say, I think it's, I'm comfortable with where the budget is now as a budget request, and noting that we can have discussions further with the town on where there may be room for further reductions in light of this upcoming legislation.
Dr. Stanley?
Thank you. And thank you, Lynn, for all of the hard work and everybody on this budget. I just wanted to sort of remind people that even though we're using $2 million of the non-lapsing fund, we're still expected to have money come back to our non-lapsing fund at the end. But that is that is an assumption, but it's not a guaranteed. And I think we're kind of in this nebulous position with providing para benefits that we absolutely need to do, but we won't know the actual true cost of that until the end of the year. So I would be hesitant to reduce the budget any further. I think this is a great starting point, and then would be working on budgets, getting it closer and closer to realization, but not being too risky with our budgets year after year. But thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions about anything budget related? Okay. Yeah, so oh, Mr. Newton has his hand up. Go ahead.
My question is, do we need to do two motions? One to put in the 1 million we didn't do last time?
No, we can do it all at once.
Procedurally, we can do it all at once? Okay. I was just concerned about that. Okay, thank you.
So yeah, I think that if we're good with the proposed cuts and few additions, we can do that right now. I agree, it's super important to put in the placeholders for both the Nor'easter Academy and the Student Health Center, School-Based Health Center, because they are important programs, as we've discussed previously. And then we talked about the additional 1 million for the non-lapsing. So, and then, yeah, again, thank you to the staff for continuing to look at the budget and continuing to find cuts. And just a reminder, if anything else pops up, we can always, I'll wait and I'll say that later. All right, so we would be able to entertain a motion, or do we have the total, or 910?
This is the grand total, and that's the percentage increase.
Do we have to, the total deductions, like the total reductions, I think is 910,942. And the final budget is 96771. I use Excel magic and I love Excel. That's me nerding out.
Oh, I just wanted to know, while we're
Go ahead,
doing the
Ms.
numbers,
Weaver.
just wanted to know in that legislation too, I know there is a civics seal. So like we have the seal of biliteracy. I know there will now be another seal that our students can attain. So would look forward to having some of our students involved in civics.
Nice.
We're biased, I know.
We need the percentage for the transmitting to the town.
Yeah.
We're just crunching some numbers.
I think we need some music.
What was that?
We need some music.
To all those online, sorry, we're
Yeah,
just
the
crunching the
Jeopardy
numbers
theme
for the
song.
exact reduction it will be.
While Lynn is doing that, I do have one more factoid to show.
Oh, another fun fact.
Fun fact.
Just this to this, right? 6.16 to 5.5.
97682.
Yeah.
Yeah. Minus.
967. Yeah.
Yep, that's what I got.
Then I have a reduction of 910.
9. Yep.
Yeah. Sorry. Nope, you're fine. Nope, we're all good. Our numbers match. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Back in motion, everyone. Move that the 2026-27 Board of Education budget be adjusted by the subtraction of $910,942 as reflected in the budget reconciliation document submitted by the CFO.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second, which will make our budget ask 96,771,211. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Don't do that. Okay. Mary Beatrice.
Yes.
Sean Halloran.
Yes.
Marissa Lenzi.
Yes.
Timothy Newton.
Yes.
Amy Parati.
Yes.
Brian Skibo.
Yes.
Sam Sharma.
Yes.
Dr. Gail Stanley.
Yes.
Jessica Weaver.
Yes.
The motion passed unanimously 9-0.
Thank you. All right, last call for anything budget related before we look to transmit it over to the town.
I was just-
Anyone? Yes. Oh, yeah, your fun fact.
My fun fact. There was a question too about the services provided by our health center. So this is a depiction. I believe this was shared with the board at the end of last year, but new board members would not have seen it. I will link it into my presentation, but it outlines the services provided, kind of a summary of the type of services, the frequency. So by gender, it's kind of a big graphic. So this is, I know there were questions about who's impacted by the health center, what's our added value, what are our kids benefiting from it. So all of this is encompassed on this chart that I believe new board members would not have seen. So I will link it in next to that other chart that gave it that one pager that we shared with the legislature. So.
Thank you. I recall seeing this, but just looking at it now, it's really telling how important the school-based health center is. So I'm glad we're adding it.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that.
Okay.
Okay. So as Ms. Weaver alluded to, there is potentially some legislation coming. We don't know. Oh, well, hold on, Gail. I see your hand up. I'll give you 1 second. Or did you have something based on the school-based health center?
No, not on the school-based health center. I just, can you remind me, are we voting on our ask for the buses, or what was the arrangement with the town?
The buses, we already submitted our proposal, and we, the update that Dr. Brummett had received was that the town manager is going to reduce to 800,000. So that's kind of already done, and we just got a sneak peek of capital. Yeah, it's capital budget. So we just got a sneak peek of what's going to happen. So if we need to advocate for more, we will do so at the town council. And that process is already, the capital budget has already been submitted and yeah.
Okay.
So this is just for the operating budget that we're going through.
Okay, thanks.
Yep, no problem. So as alluded to earlier, there is potentially, hopefully, some money coming, some for this fiscal year, which won't affect this current budget, but some for next year. Hopefully we get some good funds coming our way, but we won't know until maybe tomorrow, maybe not. We don't even know if the House, what they're going to do. But anyways, TBD. But what I was saying is that if that comes through and that's something that we can reduce the ask, or if there's any other things found between now and even up until the last minute of town council approving the budget, we can always suggest changes to the town council for consideration. So the board wouldn't vote on them necessarily, but the town council could. And town council, I just also want to remind, they don't do individual line items. They're giving us a whole percentage increase. So the board has the ability to allocate to different line items. The town council could do, gives us the full number. So, but anyways, we're going to work collaboratively with the town council. Dr. Brema and I will present on the 10th, but then again, there's still time to make changes as if necessary, or provide suggestions to the town council if necessary. Ms. Weaver, sorry.
Yeah, I just like to give this caveat every year. Like, this is because of time constraints. I don't ever really like this as the ideal, but and Lynn and I were talking about, I'm like, how did some towns do this in February and budget for these things? That it's just wild to me. This is our budget request. This is not the final budget, as much as I would like it to be, and that we could know all these things. This is the art and science of a snapshot in time. So I feel as though the due diligence has been done to get us to this point, and I feel really good about this. It's actually one of the best budgets I feel about, being able to balance the needs of our students, but also looking really closely at all of the line items and really digging into what are the cost drivers and in our budget. So want to thank the staff once more for all of the hard work that has been done thus far, and know that there is still going to be work after this. So I hope that we all feel that we can support this budget request, but also note that there will be work on the other side of it, and good work, and that we should be expecting hopefully monies from the state, which is something I hold with such hope. But just want to say thank you for that. I will be supporting this budget request tonight, and with that asterisk of knowing that there will still be likely more things to come, but the gratitude is there for all of the cuts that have been found and made, and the efficiencies, while also the programs that are being provided that are incredibly important to our students.
Dr. Stanley?
Thank you, Amy. I just had a question. So those further suggestions that is made from the Board of Education, how do we get notified on what those suggestions are before they're presented to Town Council?
If we have a meeting, we will be able to discuss. If not,
Can we be notified what monies we're getting?
yes.
There is
Yeah,
a
well-
board meeting before our town council presentation.
Okay, there's no board meeting before our town council presentation, but we will be notified. Dr. Bremen can send out to the full board what we would be getting. So that would be one. If anything else comes up, we'll just communicate, not illegally, through not an illegal meeting. I guess, is that where you're asking?
Yeah, because not that I'm thinking that she would do this or you guys would do this, but it does leave potential that, you could suggest cutting an item without the rest of us knowing about it or voting on it before it's presented to the town council.
Yeah. We won't do that. To Ms. Weaver.
Yeah, I think the only thing would be, I don't think you wouldn't be able to take administrative action on anything that we're still in the process of requesting. I think the biggest thing is just knowing how much it would cover, the grant would cover for current programming or current programming requests. So that would just work as an offset, so to speak. So I don't think it would affect anything, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Brummett, that wouldn't affect cutting anything, so to speak, just how much we're getting from the state to cover the programming that we'd like it to be offered. Is that correct?
Yes, whatever the board lands on tonight for a budget adoption and transmittal to the town manager is what it is. Then we would wait and see if we get any funds from the state through some of the things that are pending right now. I would share that out with the board, and then the board chair and I could share that with the town council during our March 10th presentation, because if we are getting resources to offset the cost of the school-based health center, there'd be a potential for the town to have some offsets by that grant money that we're getting, that we don't know yet if we're getting it. Does that make sense? So we can't change, what we send now is what they're going to get, and then the next thing that happens is they give us their recommended cuts.
Yeah, and if the town council does choose to make any cuts, like above and beyond what we said here, that's up to them, their purview, that's their role in this process. We go forward with our recommendation, and then they ultimately give us a number. So the board will say, this is great, but cut $1 million. We're going to give you 95,771 to 11, and then we have to come together and say, okay, we have $1 million less. Now what do we do? And that's our decision on how to reconcile our asks to the actual amount that the town is giving us. So I don't think anything would be cut per se or adjusted from our perspective, but the town does have that ability to do it. It's not something that we would decide until the end. And I know it's a confusing process, and there's definitely a learning curve. So if you do have further questions, we'd be happy to discuss. Or something comes up from anyone. Mr. Skibo?
Yes, is there a hard copy we can get for this presentation for the board, for the proposal?
Of this spreadsheet or?
Of the proposal itself. Is there?
The full budget book will be uploaded to the website.
It will,
shortly.
but we are planning on revising it based on tonight's final determination. There's going to be another column added to the budget books that says Board of Ed approved. And that's where you'll see the differential between what I proposed and then what the board ultimately has approved this evening. So that'll be in a column on every page of the budget book with the differentials. And that will be posted. We anticipate it should be posted to the website by Friday or Monday at the latest, and provided those copies for the board to have updated pages for their books. We would do the same for the town. And then I don't know if I'm answering all the questions that just came forward.
Presentation?
Yeah, the whole, the whole.
Yeah, thank you.
Hard copy of the PowerPoint?
Yeah, and what you're gonna give to the town council, and if you want to give to, or you ask, I
Yeah.
would like.
Can you put your mic on? I'm sorry, I don't think
I
anyone can
wanted
hear you.
to reference, to look at, the whole chart and then see, compare if there's any changes.
Okay,
That would,
so
is that possible?
yes, so looking for a full printout of the PowerPoint that we've been going through?
Yeah, the budget, the whole budget. Is that possible?
Well, the budget proposal is the book, like the binder.
This thing.
Is that,
No, I don't do that, no. I just, for the money, as far as
the cuts, the
reconciliation
spreadsheet,
page?
that can be
Yes.
printed and,
Yes.
sure.
I will
Yeah.
send that out to the entire board.
okay.
I think he wants a hard copy of it.
Yeah, thank
Hard
you.
copy?
Him and Marissa requested a hard copy.
We'd like
Sure.
hard copy, sorry. And when, and if we could get
Can
hard
you, I'm sorry,
copies.
can you just put your mic on? Is it on? Okay, go ahead.
Sorry. I would like hard copy of what you're gonna present to the town council, just so I could, I like to put next to each other, because computer screen's too slow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Too small to put them on 2 pages.
Just wanna, the presentation for the town council will be a slimmed down version of what she presented, but I do want to caveat that it will probably be worked on up until the 7 o'clock on Tuesday, the 10th. So, I don't know,
But
we
yes,
can provide a copy.
absolutely. As soon as it's ready, I can share it out with the board. To reiterate, yes, the town had already seen my full presentation a few weeks ago. I will probably skinny it down because they don't need to hear the same information twice, but probably what would be focused upon is some of the updates that they haven't already seen and a brief summary. But to bottom line answer the question, yes, the board absolutely can receive a copy of our presentation to the town council on or prior to March 10th.
Thank you, appreciate that. Sorry, learning curves over here.
No, it's fine. It's fine. And yeah, I just want to reiterate that we're not going to go and make any changes as far as like what we've discussed here, the numbers or anything, without telling the board. But it is the responsibility of us to go and present it. So on behalf of the board, I will be speaking to the budget and what we've talked about here, taking into consideration all of the perspectives and discussions that we had. So if there were questions that come from the council, I would then share what the board discussed as throughout this process. So it's not, no one's gonna play games with the numbers or anything. We're not gonna change and look for more or less money. So what we've talked about here on the record in public is what will be presented to the town council.
All right, thanks, Amy.
Yep. Okay. So we can look to have a motion to transmit the Board of Ed approved proposed budget to the town manager. You have that?
Yeah.
Do you have the number? You have the number? Okay.
This one?
Not, yeah. Yeah.
9771.
Yeah.
All right. Move the Board of Education transmit the 2026-2027 budget to the town manager in the amount of $96,771,211, which represents the increase of 5.63%.
Second.
Thank you. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Any discussion at all? Okay. Please. Can you give her the
Mary
mic?
Beatrice,
Yes.
John Halloran,
Yes.
Oh,
Marissa Lenzi,
Yes.
Timothy Newton,
Yes.
Amy Parati,
Yes.
Brian Skibo,
Yes.
Sam Sharma,
Yes.
Dr. Gail Stanley,
Yes.
Jessica Weaver.
yes.
The motion passed unanimously 9-0.
Yay. We did it, guys. First time in my history that it's been unanimous. I'm very proud of that, that vote. And it definitely, yeah, it's not over yet, but we did a lot of work. And I think that we had some very great discussion, and I was very pleased that all of us seem to be on the same page as far as a lot of the items that we discussed. So I just want to thank the board for the work, and also, of course, Lynn and Dr. Brummett and Kristen and Dan and all of the Marilena, yes, Marilena with all that special ed, Karen, everybody upstairs, all the administrators in the schools, just everybody who, everybody in the district, basically, just everyone, thank you. But no, it was a lot of work, and I'm just proud that we have done it. We didn't have to add any meetings, and we got to cancel one, so. Okay, so that's done, and Dr. Brummett will send our board-approved budget to the town manager by the 1st. Probably Friday.
Bless you. Bless you.
Bless you.
Oh, sorry.
All right, I will now open it back up to public participation on any matter related to board responsibilities. No one in the room. Oh, sorry, there is someone. You're in the room. Anyone in the room can come to the head of the table, or if you're online, you can raise your hands to be recognized. I'm not seeing any. Oh, sorry, Dana, go ahead.
Hi, Dana Havens, 113 Stoddard Avenue. Sorry, I meant to do that first public participation, but I hit the wrong link and couldn't get in.
Oh.
All right, I would like to address the email that I previously sent to all of you and the response from the SOS. Her email states the fact that the principal was present with the sign-up sheet. In my view, that reinforces the perception that the walkout was a school-approved and school-led activity. Perception matters, particularly when it involves controversial issues and student participation during the school day. I want to reiterate my position that in order to remain in compliance with your policy number 6144, the high school should now provide a balanced and informal presentation. This presentation should be intended to advocate for, should not be intended to advocate for or against ICE, but rather to explain why the agency exists, as well as outline its procedures, its policies, and its legal framework, because it is legal. Providing factual, neutral information would help ensure students are informed through an objective lens and would demonstrate adherence to the district's own policy standards regarding controversial issues. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, I will move to remarks by board members. Ms. Lindsay.
I just want to thank you for helping us newbies learn. You guys are doing, very appreciate the, not dumbing down, but just like explaining every little thing and dealing with us. I really appreciate that. Because I know I haven't asked a lot of questions, but you guys are answering them before I have to ask them, and I really appreciate that. And I want to thank everybody that did find all the things and all the things that were wrong, that they were able to correct them and bring and take out and all that. So I just want to thank everybody. And as you said, Amy, I think we all work very well together. This is a good team here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Skibo.
Yeah, I'd like to mirror what Melissa said. Especially, you know, a lot of you all have kids in the system and you know a lot of stuff. And it's you know, good to learn, you know, with you guys and really dive deep and see what's going on. So I appreciate it as well. Thank you.
Mr. Holleran.
I'm going to respond to my other two fellow board members. We were new at one point. I don't think it ever gets easier. You just start to understand a little bit more. But I really appreciated your opinions and perspectives. I think with the most diverse perspectives, we kind of come to the right balance. And I do think that this board is working very well together, and I hope it continues to do so. With the addition of Lynn, I think this was the smoothest budget season I think I can remember. And I think that I'm just really happy to have you guys here as well. So we get to do more fun stuff, and I hope you guys can go to graduation. It's a good time.
You'll be on stage, Marissa.
Yeah, I just want to, once again, I don't think there are enough thanks in this, particularly the amount of hours, everyone who sits here at this table for multiple hours, for everyone who has to block off February from their calendar completely. We have this saying in my family that like sometimes some months are like deceptively quiet and others are obnoxiously loud. And February is an obnoxiously loud month. And I just want to especially give a shout out. You know, we had some offline conversations with Gail and Tim and Dr. Stanley and Mr. Newton. And just like the collaboration here, this is my 7th budget. And that was really meaningful to have new perspectives. So just because you're new does not mean that your perspective doesn't help. And I think that's what's beautiful about this process is because everyone brings such a different perspective and a different viewpoint of their interaction and touch point with this district. It's really helpful to get those different perspectives. So thank you for the collaboration. I think former Chair Fletcher would always say, like, this is not really the partisan place. This is really where we collaborate a lot. And I think that was very evident in this board and this process. So I will say my first budget season was with Dr. Brummett at during COVID. So that was not as enjoyable. So we started at a low and we just keep going up. So want to thank everyone who put the time and effort into all of this, into all the papers, into all the spreadsheets, into all the numbers, and those around this table online. I think we have an Oscars list worthy of a longer speech, but it really doesn't go unnoticed. This is not an easy job, and particularly in the times that we're in, particularly I will note again with where state funding is at and those kinds of things, this is really on the towns to do a lot of the legwork. So thank you all for doing that, and appreciate all that has come and all that is to come as we continue this lovely art and science that is the budget season. Thank you.
Do we have to do TikTok videos like John Wallace showing collaboration?
That was not TikTok. Mr. Sharma?
Right, so I just want to thank everyone. I mean, this is probably my sixth budget, and this was like the smoothest. The budget book is much smaller, concise, and, next step is for us to hopefully get all the money that we asked for. So thank you, everyone.
Ms. Beatrice? Oh, yeah, I called you. Oh, you're waiting. Okay.
I do want to thank everybody, of course, for all of their hard work, and just this collaborative effort has brought to the town council some really, really, really important items. And I can't stress enough, these are items that we feel are important. These are items that people in our community have actually told us are important to them. And so I really want to stress again and again and again that we as a group believe very strongly that our paras deserve and should have the insurance benefits. We believe our students need to have a health center in our school. We need to maintain our Nor'easter Academy so that our most at-risk students are able to graduate. And these aren't just things that we came to the table thinking individually. This was a collaborative effort, and it's reinforced by what we hear from people in our community. So it's a pleasure to do that hard work. It's a pleasure to learn from people who are doing even harder work. But we do bring that to the council with a very strong feeling of collaboration, but of deep responsibility. And that's a responsibility to the community, but especially to our staff and our students.
Thank you. Mr. Newton?
I'd just like to say that this is my third budget, and it is by far the most transparent I've seen. And that lends itself to accuracy, which is what I think our taxpayers want. I don't think they're necessarily opposed to us spending money. They just want to know where it's going and how we're spending it and what it's for. And I also believe that there was no agendas on the part of anybody on this board in this budget session for me, that, we made our decisions based on our own convictions, and we're not going to agree on everything, but we did agree that in the best interest of the children and the taxpayers ultimately is why we were elected. So I'd like to thank everybody for that.
Thank you. Anyone else? No. I just want to, I already said my budget piece, but I do want to thank the bus drivers, the plow workers, the maintenance people, everyone who cleared sidewalks, all the, everyone in town homeowners who cleared sidewalks for kids to walk to school. Everything that was done to clean up from those 2 days of messiness. And this morning I put Charlotte on the bus and I was like, it's really snowing. But Mr. Chris assured me he's never had an accident. He's never had a ticket. He's got this. And she got to school safe. She got home safe. So Thank you to all the bus drivers who did get all the students safe to school this morning. The weather was, as Dr. Brummett put out in her email, it was not as predicted. And a lot of our surrounding towns also had a full day of school with no delays. So it was, Dr. Brummett, you have our job, but thank you for always attempting to put our student safety first and using the information you have. So I want to thank you for that. And everyone in the town and school who got everyone to school safe today. So, and yeah, hopefully we don't have any more snow days. Graduation is a fun time. Ms. Rodriguez, your son can go to his meet, and good luck with that. That would be good. That's very exciting. Also, I want to know if boys basketball won, so I'm looking forward to adjourning this meeting so we can find out. Okay, motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding.
What? On favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting adjourned at 9:27 PM.
Have a good night, guys.
Bye. Thank you.